voice of Indonesia.
Voice of Indonesia from Indonesia to the world. Well, finally, listeners, now we are going to interview Indonesian Ambassador to Romania, Mr. Meidyatama Suryodiningrat, regarding the bilateral relations between Indonesia and Romania. Hello, good afternoon, Pak Meidyatama.
I am very well. We are all very well. Thank you. Alhamdulillah. Good morning from Bucharest. Good afternoon to all those in Jakarta and Indonesia.
Okay, well, actually, first of all, I would like to say thank you very much because I believe that you are so busy and you are able to divide your time and you can join our special interview today.
Always a pleasure for Radio Republik Indonesia.
Okay, Pak Meidyatama, you know that Indonesia and Romania have established bilateral relations since 1950, and even until now, the bilateral relations keep growing and becomes better. So actually, could you explain about the bilateral relations between Indonesia and Romania currently, Pak Meidyatama?
Well, first of all, thank you and hello to everyone in Indonesia and anywhere listening around the world. First and foremost, Romania recognized our independence and our sovereignty in 1950. So we are actually undertaking and evolving into the 75th year of our bilateral relationship. Indonesia opened its first embassy and appointed its first ambassador in 1961. So it has been a long and very fruitful relationship. There are absolutely no problems on the bilateral side. We support each other in various international fora. However, I must say that despite the very good relations between the two countries, it is a relationship which I believe in the last decade has not evolved to the kind of potential that we should be gaining at the moment.
So actually, what sectors that become focus of the two countries' cooperation, Pak Meidyatama?
Well, on the political side, we mutually support and have common positions in various international fora. For example, Romania has been always consistent supporter of Indonesia in its nomination in various international organizations such as the Human Rights Council, and then there was the UNESCO Executive Board, and we also supported Romania in its nomination for a justice in the International Court. On the bilateral field, on the political field, there are absolutely no tremendous issues. On the economic field, over the last year, in particular in the post-pandemic era, bilateral trade has been hitting around $180 to $190 million. And also, last year was the highest number of Romanians visiting Indonesia. Unfortunately, or fortunately, in this case, Bali, because Bali in Romania is a brand in itself. And as ambassador, often my most difficult job is trying to explain that Bali is in Indonesia and not the other way around. But it is always a good reference point when people understand Bali, and it makes it more easier to explain about Indonesia.
So it seems that really interesting to say that, like, it is also related to tourism destination, Pak Meidyatama. Actually, the question is, how is I can say the embassy, I can say, like, promoting Indonesian other tourism destinations besides Bali, Pak Meidyatama?
Well, I think the importance and significance of Bali cannot be understated. Yes, there are other destinations, but I think the first reference point for a country like Romania and Romanians, most of whom probably do not know Indonesia as much or do not know Southeast Asia as much, you just mentioned the word Bali, and it's a reference point for them. It's a sort of a dream destination for them. So in that case, it's a plus point. It's a pro. It's an advantage for us that we can say just one word and Bali, and they will have some understanding of Indonesia. Now, the second job is actually how to introduce. And one of the ways that not only the Indonesian embassy in Bucharest has done, but all the foreign ministry has done, is promoting gastro diplomacy, food and such things. So one of the things that we have been doing more frequently in recent months has been introducing, inviting people for afternoon teas and providing them with a taste of Indonesian food, which comes from various parts of Indonesia, whether that be just a simple satay or bakso, or maybe some rendang or some delicacies which come from various parts. By doing that, then they know that Indonesia is just going beyond Bali.
Wow, perfectly. So, Pak Meidyatama, still talking about tourism destination. Actually, I believe that there are lots of Indonesian diaspora in Romania. So, actually, what is the favorite place, the favorite destination for Indonesian people when they are in Bucharest or in Romania?
Well, it's the same case when you talk about Bali and Indonesia and when you talk about Romania. Because Romania, if you mention Romania, most Indonesians probably have difficulty in trying to grasp where exactly it is, what it is. But I can use one word to explain Romania, and even I think every Indonesian will understand, and that word is Dracula. Because Count Vlad is a Romanian, right? So it's an easy way to introduce Romania in a marketing sense for many Indonesians. The second word that I can use is Transylvania, because the popularity of the cartoons, Hotel Transylvania and all that, which is also part of Romania. So in many ways, it's very easy to introduce Indonesians when you use those two touchstones to explain what Romania is. But I think for Indonesians, the most important thing to understand about Romania is two things. One is that Romania currently has a population deficit, a population growth deficit. Hence, increasingly, they are in need of more workers. And that is significant in the number of Asians now working in Romania. The fact is also that the number of Indonesians in Romania over the past 2 years has increased quite significantly. The second aspect that I would like to highlight about Indonesians in Romania is the fact that the Romanian government has a very open and a very supportive scholarship program.
Wow.
And we always encourage our younger brothers and sisters to have an open mind in looking at scholarships, because each year there are about 5 to 6 Indonesians that receive a full scholarship to Romanian universities. In fact, I would say that nearly 100% of all Indonesian students studying in Romanian universities are under a full scholarship. So it is about opening up your mind in your desire to pursue a higher education and not just look at the traditional countries such as the United States, Britain, France, or Germany. There are many very good high institutions which open opportunities for Indonesians to study.
Okay. So you mean in this case, the Romanian government gives such scholarship every year, Pak Meidyatama, for Indonesian students who wants to study in Romania?
Yes. So it's a full scholarship which includes tuition and living expenses and lodging also, if the case permits. Lodging is in the dormitory and so on. Now, you can argue how much is enough, obviously, but as a student, you would not live like a CEO. So you live like a student, right? You study to become a CEO. But what I'm saying is that it is a full scholarship, and there is an opportunity in which I think a younger generation should take advantage of.
So I believe that by giving scholarship, it is also as a way for the two governments in giving such a way for, building people-to-people contact. Is that correct, Pak Meidyatama?
Yes, obviously that is one of the ways in which to enhance good relations between two nations. Do not also forget that Indonesia also provides scholarships, but our scholarships that we provide are sort of a different nature. It is more of a scholarship about learning about Indonesia. There are obviously scholarships which is of academic degree, but the most popular ones are more cultural scholarships, learning to live with the Indonesian society, understanding how Indonesia and the Indonesian mind and the Indonesian people live. Those are very popular. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, there was at least 2 people last year that were provided scholarships to audit classes and to live among the Indonesian population. So there were 2 Romanians. Just as a footnote, my accreditation is not only to Romania, but also Moldova. So our scholarships are also open to both people in Romania and Moldova.
Okay. Pak Meidyatama, I would like to ask about cultural cooperation. In this case, does the Indonesian embassy in Bucharest also give such introduction or promotion such Indonesian culture, like giving, I can say like bring or take Indonesian artists, and when they perform in Bucharest, such Indonesian cultures in the city?
Well, first of all, there is a very unique habit that Romanians have. Past winter and during the spring, summer, and autumn, there are so many festivals in Romania, not only in Bucharest, but in many, many other cities. And one of the things that I have learned is that Romanians like festivals because they like to go out in the parks, enjoy the sun, like many people in cold weather climates. So cultural festivals are very popular, and actually the Indonesian embassy engages in and participates in several cultural festivals, exhibitions, and so on. I think since August or September of last year, we have participated in at least 5 or 6 festivals throughout the country. In fact, some of our staff are leaving for Cluj, which is a city several hundred kilometers or about 8 hours away from Bucharest, to engage in a multicultural festival. One of the key aspects, and I think this defines what being Indonesian is that when you have these festivals, when you have these engagements to promote Indonesia, I am always very thankful and very appreciative, because it is not just the embassy. Indonesians, when they are abroad, become very nationalistic and very proud of their heritage and their culture, and that they always engage and participate in these festivals to help the embassy.
Okay. Well, Pak Meidyatama, until the end of 2024, will there be such, I can say, a planning, such Indonesian festival, cultural festival that will be held in Bucharest until the end of this year?
Definitely, we plan and hope to hold a festival in Indonesia, or Veranda Indonesia, for at least 2 days, in conjunction with our August independence celebrations. So that is probably the biggest celebration that we have, that we promote by ourselves. But that's sort of the big one. Before that, there are several other occasions in which we engage in festivals, like the one we are engaging this week, for that purpose. What we also want to do is that we want to bring a piece of Indonesia, such as a monument, a relief, or a miniature Borobudur or Prambanan, to post it in and erect it in one of the parks, or the biggest park in Bucharest. Because Bucharest, as I said again, I remind you that they love their festivals, they love their parks. Bucharest is actually the capital with the largest number of parks. So that's how popular they are.
Okay. Well, usually every year, Pak Meidyatama, during the Independence Day of Indonesia, when the embassy celebrate the Independence Day, does it also invite such an artist or such performers of Romanian when they come to the embassy, they perform their cultural performance? So they also mix.
Yes, of course. I must say that just as a footnote, I have only been here for 6 or 7 months, so I can only reference over the last 6, 7 months. But our plan for this year is to continue the cultural celebrations and cultural introduction of Indonesia. We want to do something that is typically Indonesian, but also has a very modern slant. Because I think one of the things that we want to do is show our culture, but also show that Indonesia is a developed country. So one of the things that we are looking at is, for example, having a angklung festival, but not only just a traditional angklung, but how angklung, for example, can be integrated into modern music, which people younger than I am, basically the young generation, can also appreciate. I think it's very important on that aspect. It's not just to show that we have a long history, a long culture, a very traditional culture, but that we are a very, very modern country, which is something of a message that our president, Joko Widodo, has always tried to state when he is abroad, is that we are a very modernized country with strong heritage and traditions.
Okay. So the last question, Pak Meidyatama, what's your expectation for the two countries in order to enhance their bilateral relations, become better and better in the future?
Before I left and was given the honor to become ambassador, one of my targets was to make sure that the bilateral trade and economic relations between the two countries would return higher than it was during the pre-pandemic era. Obviously, during the pandemic, all economic relations were suspended and dropped. I am very confident that in 2023 and 2024 that we will exceed both the number of trade and bilateral economics that we had before 2020. This is sort of the high point of our bilateral relations. Nevertheless, it is still underperforming because I think we can do so much more, not just to increase the numbers in what we have, but look at Romania as a very strategic economic partner because it is a member of the EU, it is a non-traditional market, and it is an entry point to Eastern Europe because it has direct access to the Black Sea. It is the first primary access to the Black Sea port since the Ukrainian war.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Pak Meidyatama, for your time and attention to join our special interview today.
It has been my pleasure. Thank you so much, and good health and wealth to everyone.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, listener, that was our special interview with Mr. Meidyatama Suryodiningrat as Indonesian Ambassador to Romania.
Voice of Indonesia.